Hi everybody, I'm Cliff Curry, Superintendent of Red Bluff Elementary. I wanted to speak with our stakeholders today about some of the recent events on our campuses. As you're aware, throughout the county, there have been school quarantines as a result of cases on campuses. We have thus far, prior to this week, avoided any of that. But this week we did have 2 cases on 2 separate sites, and we did have to quarantine some number of students and staff. Now, we did reach out to sites and parents and staff to make sure that they knew that there was a case. But what I wanted to talk to you tonight about was some of the background to what's happening around discussions of COVID here in the county. I could tell you that myself and other superintendents have been in very close contact with the public health department, so we're tracking developments here in the county very closely. I have received a lot of questions about school closures as a result of COVID. And once a school is open to in-person instruction, like our sites have been since we started, even under the purple tier, there is state guidelines and local guidelines for us to follow in terms of guiding when we close campuses. The closure rule for schools is when a school reaches a 5% infection rate, and that is the total number of people on a school campus. So that would include all staff, all students. If you take that number and you reach 5% of that number, that's when a school must close. So that's what we're operating on. In this most recent incident, we had 2 people, 1 on two sites. So we're not close to 5% on any of our sites. And so I wanted to make sure people understood that. I also wanted to talk a little bit about logistical problems with staying open. So some of the schools around us this month that have closed, in particularly some of the small districts, may have closed indirectly because of quarantines of staff and students, particularly staff. If, for instance, we had a number of key staff absent because they were quarantined, we might find it very difficult to keep a school site open during that quarantine period. I want to emphasize that someone that was quarantined was not necessarily infected. The reasons for these quarantines was because of 2 cases, and that resulted in somewhere around 180 students and staff being quarantined. Of that 180, we don't know if any of them will eventually become infected. It does not mean they're currently infected. So I just wanted to be clear about that to make sure nobody misunderstands the difference between quarantine and infected. So what we anticipate is that at some point we may end up having to close a site temporarily during a quarantine period because key personnel are missing, and we may not be able to logistically keep that site open and running safely. We have to have people that can clean. We have to have people that can maintain the screenings in the morning. We have to have people that can do the supervision of students at departure. All of those things are required parts of our reopening plan. And if we come up short on personnel, we may have no choice but to shut for reasons like that, just like other schools around us have done. I wanted to make sure you knew that. And I wanted to re-emphasize that 5% infection rate, not 5% quarantine rate, 5% infection rate at a campus. That's the metric for school closure in California and in Tehama County. The second is the logistical concerns. We have not experienced that this week. We are keeping the sites that were impacted with the quarantines open because we felt like we were able to maintain our safety precautions and keep those sites open. We will do that as long as it's safe. Our first priority is going to make sure that we can follow all of our safety protocols with the staff that we have that's not quarantined. As soon as that becomes an impossibility, we will inform parents, we will inform staff, and we will shut those sites down as needed for those quarantine periods until people are back. And lastly, I was just in a meeting today with public health, county health, and it's important for us to remember that our schools in this county have actually been contributing to keeping the rates suppressed because the protocols we have in place, everybody's wearing face coverings, everybody's staying distance to the extent practicable, and we're quarantining immediately when we realize that there is a positive case on our campuses. What has happened as a result of that, there has been no transmission within schools in Tehama County at all. That means that nobody has contracted COVID from someone at a school site. Now that means that we've been very successful in maintaining safety precautions and keeping people safe. So I wanted to put that out there. That is a testament to our employees who are being very rigorous, wearing their face coverings, maintaining social distancing, sterilizing, keeping everything clean. It's been a total effort on the part of our staff in this district, and I commend them for that. I also want to thank parents for making sure that your students are wearing face coverings when they come to school. We haven't had big problems with that, but it is because of those measures that we are doing okay within schools. So I don't want to sound alarmist. I just wanted to alert people to the possibility that there could be other reasons for shutting down a site other than for a closure due to COVID. Please stay tuned for more information releases. As we have them, we will let you know. Thanks so much.